Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Mimi Melly, the creator of CreateKingdomPlans. And in today's video, I'm doing an in-depth way to edit 3 different types of photos. In just 16 steps, you're going to see me edit 3 photos in this video, and I'll show you all the cool things that you can do to edit photos in Procreate. Let's get started. Just some old photos I have that I want to edit with you guys today. So we're going to close out of the photo app and open Procreate. And just like I always show you guys, my really amazing tip, slide up from the bottom, take the Photos app and slide it onto your screen and just let go. And now we can easily drag and drop our photos into Procreate directly, and it's going to import the photos immediately. So any photo that we choose is gonna just instantly drop it in. As some of you may know, Apple has this amazing feature where you can just instantly grab your photos and paste it into wherever, and it'll be a PNG. And you can do this in any app. However, as you can see, I not just only want me, and in the foreground, I also want the chair. So you can see it's missing in that photo. So sometimes it's not actually a good idea to just use that feature to drag in a picture. You might just have to put the picture in directly and cut around it. So not all the time that it works, but it does work, and I'm gonna show you with a different photo how well it works. So, for example, with this photo, it's going to be a lot easier because the background is more simple. So when I click on the image, it's going to outline just me, and I'm easily able to place it into Procreate, and you can see there is no background. So there is a white background, but that's just the white colored layer. That's just the default in Procreate. So we're gonna play with this picture as well. I just want to also show you that this also works in other apps. So this feature can be easily used in GoodNotes. A lot of you have already seen people using it on Instagram, for example. So I'm just going to take a blank page, and I want to show you guys that the same way that I did it in Procreate, I can do the same exact thing in GoodNotes. And there you go. And it's a PNG file. So as you can see, there's no background, it's cut nice, and you can do this, of course, with other pictures as well. Okay, and for the last photo, I'm going to use another photo, but this is actually a less, how can I say, it's not as good quality as the other photos. I probably took this with a not so great camera, or was probably like screenshotted or something. So I'm going to show you how we edit a photo that has less quality, but still you can use it as a PNG image, or you know, whatever you'd like. So these are just old photos I have in my album, and also going to use that feature for this. Step 1. All right, enough chatting, let's get started. So our first photo, as you can see, is not one of the photos where we can just instantly make a PNG. We have to do a lot of work to it. And we started doing that in the last video. So if you missed that video for how to quickly edit photos, definitely check it out. As you can see, I want to take off those little rolling wheels, so it just looks like the chair didn't have those little rolling wheels. I don't know what that's called, but it was just easy to transport that chair, I guess, you know, and so that's what they used. And I remember this photo shoot very well. My husband was like, oh my god, I hate those things, like, and I'm like, you can easily edit that out. It's funny because I've never edited them out until today, and that was like 2019 when we actually took these pictures. Okay, so there's 2 ways to do this, you guys. You can just color that in white, as you can see, on the layer, or you can use the smudge tool and start smudging it and trying to make it that color. The way that I like to do it is by using the white, and the reason why is because I'm not going to use the colors that are already in the image. I like to make the image more bright. So once again, if you didn't see that video that I made how to quickly edit photos, definitely check it out because it'll make more sense what I'm talking about. But we're going to do all those steps as well in this video. So let's move on to step 2. So on the top right corner, click on that little colored circle, go down to value, and we are going to change the hex code to FFFFFFF. I don't know how many F's there's supposed to be, but it's a lot of them, and we're just going to keep on clicking because I think it's about 5 or 6. I'm not sure. You can correct me down below, but that is pure white. Now look at the difference between this and this. So you can see definitely a difference. I'm just using 2 fingers to undo, 3-finger tap to redo. Okay, so you can see that it's so much easier to just color white than to smudge, especially in the areas that are still darkened. So for step 3, we're going to start coloring in using the Studio Pen brush, and I'm making sure that I'm on the same layer. And I'm just going to color in right next to the chair. As you're getting closer to the object, make sure you zoom in, lower your pen size, and just carefully color in shorter strokes. So you don't have to hold onto the pen and color, you can let go. Just in case you mess up, you can just tap with 2 fingers to undo. And remember, if you ever have to undo what you undid and you want to redo, okay, that made it even more confusing. But if you want to redo something that you undid by accident, just use 3 fingers this time to tap onto the screen and it will redo. All right, so I'm speeding it up a little bit because all I'm doing here is coloring in, and to be honest with you, the coloring took so much time. I can say it took about 10 minutes to color all around the image. So in order for me to color really well, I like to pan the image. I zoom in as I shared with you guys, or I tilt the image. So you can either tilt your iPad or tilt the image itself, just using 2 fingers and turning to the direction that you want. All right, option 2 for step 3. If you don't want to color in and you want to just kind of do it a little bit more fast, it doesn't get faster, truly, to be honest, but you can crop by using the Freehand tool. So you can go ahead and go around the entire image using Freehand, and as you can see, it does take time. The same thing as the coloring, it takes time, but it is a faster result than coloring. So as you can see, I'm just going in and outlining the image. And if you ever mess up, you went over the line, you can just do the 2-finger tap as I'm doing. As you can see, go around your entire image and we'll cut and paste it to make a new layer. So I'm speeding this up for time's sake. We cannot be here all day. But when you're done, you're going to click on the top where it says Actions, go to Add, and go all the way down to Cut. Click Cut and then click Paste. When you go to your layers, you'll see that it made a separate image, and all you have to do is delete that back layer with all the crap that was on it. You can just delete that. So now you have a pure white screen because it's only using the background color, which is white. And if you just wanted to be a PNG image with that chair as we wanted, just like that, you don't have to include the background in the final image. So, and then also you can also change it to any color you like, which is nice. I'll show you how to do so in the next picture. Step 4, let's mess around with some adjustments. Let's make some adjustments, you know what I mean? So we're going to just do a few of them, but definitely, since you have your iPads with you, I'm hoping, as you should, you can definitely play with every single one of these and see what you like. So first we're going to take a look at Sharpen. Once you click on Sharpen, all you have to do is drag your Apple Pencil towards the right, and it's going to really show you 100% of what Sharpen would look like. Or if you want to bring it back a little bit, it'll make it less sharpened, if that makes sense. It'll be maybe 50%, 40%. So the adjustment of going back and forth with your Apple Pencil is what adjusts the percentage of how much sharpen you use, or how much motion blur or whatever. The motion blur, ooh, that really got me dizzy right there. We can't do that again. So yes, as I said, play with these, see what you like, and if you don't like it, don't use it, okay? And undo. That's it. In my last video, we took a look at Liquify, which was very helpful in the last video. So definitely check it out if you want to see me using that. But this one, we don't need that. Let's take a look at Hue and Brightness. So the Brightness tool, not my favorite. But if you do need a teeny bit of brightness, then you can use it. But if you need something more precise, I'd rather you edit the photo in the Apple Photo app, before you put it into Procreate, because it's a little bit more accurate. Step 5. I don't know how I'm keeping track of all these steps, but we are going to use either the smudge tool or the erase tool to kind of make the edges a little bit more blurred. I think they're a little bit too stark the way that they were cut with the Freehand lasso tool. So what you can do is either erase it, but when you're erasing, make sure that you are using a more blurred brush. So something that has more blurred edges is going to make it look better. Or you can do the smudge tool as well, same thing. Make sure you're using a brush that has more blurred edges. So what I like to do is the airbrush brushes. Those tools are so much better to use around the edges to make things, you know, not look too sharp and pointy, like they're about to pop a bubble or something, but make them more soft and elegant. Those are just a few tips of how to make your pictures look more professional. Step 6, we're going to create a new layer, add a layer at the top, and we're going to slide that layer down just by clicking and dragging down. And we are going to make a little bit of shadow. So I just chose a little lighter brown color, and I'm using the Studio Pen brush to just make a little bit of shadow at the bottom, because I feel like I'm floating in space, you know what I mean? So what we're gonna do is just color around the image, just a few places where I want a little bit of shadow, not around the whole picture. And then we're going to So the way that I blur it out is by going to adjustments and clicking on Gaussian blur, which we also did before. We also saw that before. But another way is to lower the opacity of that layer. So when you click on that little N right next to the checkbox, you see it says opacity. You can use that as well to lower the opacity or lower the darkness of the color that you're using, or the brightness of the color that you're using. So it has a little bit more thinness to it, so it's not as harsh. Okay, so just in case you forgot how to get Gaussian blur, I'm going to show you that again. Go to adjustments and go down and go to Gaussian blur, and you're going to swipe across or slide your Apple Pencil across towards the right. That's going to give you more blur. If you don't need that much, just slide it over slightly like I'm doing. All right, so now let's compare our new image to the old image. We see that it is a little bit brighter, a little bit nicer. I like it. What do you think? Comment down below. Step number 7, let's edit the skin. So I have a little bit of blemishes on my chest and on my arm. So what I'm going to use is the smudge tool to smudge out the little dark blemishes on my arm. Make sure you're on the layer of the photo. But I just realized I didn't show you guys the 2 little bars on the left side of your iPad when you're in Procreate. So the top one is for the sizing of the brush, which I'm sure you can tell because I use that a lot. And the lower one is for the opaqueness or the opacity in your brush, so that it's either more see-through or it's more opaque. When working with the skin, you don't want the brush to be too big so it doesn't mess up the other parts of the image, and you don't want the brush to be too opaque. So adjust it to your liking, but to make it more realistic, lower the opacity of the brush. On to step 8, let's add some makeup. So we're gonna add a little bit of color to my lips. Add a new layer, click on the plus sign, and make sure that layer is on top. And we're going to choose our color and our paintbrush. Once you've chosen your color, color in that part that you want to color in. So I'm doing my lips. If you want to add blush, you can do the same steps that I'm going to do here. So I'm just coloring the lips part, and I'm going to lower the opacity so it's not too dark. Then I'm going to use a little bit of a smaller brush to get towards the edges. This is such a simple way to add makeup. And like I said, you can do blush as well on the cheeks. You can even add mascara. You can do so many different things. Add a little bit more to your eyebrows. So the options are endless. Step 9, we're going to export our photo. Click on Actions, then Share, then go down to JPEG. Of course, there's different things that you can export, but JPEG is really good if you're going to print out your photos. So I'm going to choose this. Then when the screen pops up, click on Save Image. And there we go. That's the original image. And this is our brand new image, looking good. Let's move on to the next step, number 10, and our next image. It's super easy to change the background by just clicking layer, clicking on background, and instantly changing the color just like that. So by using the feature where you can turn your images into PNG images, you can instantly change your background in Procreate with one simple step. So now that I've chosen my color, I do need to fix these edges, but before that, I'm just going to add some hearts. So step number 11, let's add some cute heart doodles. So after drawing the perfect heart doodle, I'm just going to duplicate it. So you just drag your Apple Pencil across that heart layer and click on duplicate. Then if you want to merge down those 3 hearts, for example, click on the image, go down to merge down, and then you keep merging until you have all 3 hearts on one layer. Now you can easily move them just by pressing that arrow to move, and you can keep on duplicating, keep on merging down until they all become one image. So you can just make as many hearts as you want by hand, or you can be lazy like me and duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. To fill in the blank spots of my image, I'm just going to add little circle doodles. Step number 12. Upon looking closer and zooming into my image, I see that there's a lot of like weird things at the edges of my face. So what we're going to do is go in there and fill it in using the smudge tool. Now this is going to help to fill in the skin parts that are translucent, that shouldn't be. So before continuing with the edges, I want to show you guys a really cool tip that you can do to adjust your image. So as we showed you before in the adjustments, we're actually going to do bloom. I really like this one because it kind of makes you glowy. So we're going to add a little bit of bloom. However, as you can see when I'm adding it, it's adding bloom to my entire clothes, face, hair, everything. So how to fix this, you might ask. You might try to change the size. Still the same. You might try to change the burn or the transition. Nothing works. I'm going to show you how to focus it into one area. So we're going to use the lasso tool and circle only my face. That's where I want it to show. So once we make a complete circle around my face, you go back to the adjustments, click on bloom, and then you add the adjustment. So now as you can see, it's only adding it to my face. Cool, isn't it? Step number 13. Now we're going to zoom into our image and look at our skin. Now in this one, we are going to smooth out our skin just like we did before, but this time it's not for blemishes. It's just, it's up to you if you want to change this, but you make your skin a little bit more smooth. So everybody has texture on their skin and it's beautiful, but this is just if you want to lower the amount of texture that you have showing on your photo to make it look a little bit more professional. I have a lot of lines on my face, like from smiling so much and laughing so much, I guess. But if you want to smooth those out, you can easily do that with the smudging tool. And it also kind of gives a blurred effect. So definitely depends on what you want for your pictures. You don't have to do this, but it is an option. So we're pretty much done with this photo. So I'm just going back and cleaning up my edges from the blurring, from the different adjustments. And yeah, that's basically it. So here are the two images side by side. Which one do you like better? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, last picture. We're going to edit a lower quality image, and I'm going to show you how to do this and still make your picture look good. Step step number 14. We're going to expand our canvas because it is extremely small. So we're going to go ahead and click on Actions, go to Canvas, go to Crop and Resize. So being that this was imported with this size, we can adjust that. So just by pulling across the edges, the top, the bottom, we have increased the size of our canvas so that we have a better place to work with. So yeah, pretty simple, right? So now I'm just going to erase this weird mat that was actually in the background that did not get erased when I transferred it over. And I'm just gonna try to erase around the bow on my romper one-piece outfit. So just carefully go around it and erase. So you can see that in this image, because it was so low quality, the edges were not transferred very well at all. So we have to go back and redraw the edges. Unlike the other images where we just had to erase a little bit, do a little bit, this one we have to draw in stuff. So for step number 15, we are drawing in our edges. So as you can see, I am taking color from the image itself. So what you do is just leave your finger onto your image and you'll see a little circle pop up. When this happens, it'll collect that color and use it as your new default color to start drawing. So that's what I'll do, and you'll see it throughout the time that I'm coloring in edges. So now that I have my edges back, I'm going in and filling it in with the smudging tool so it looks a little bit more natural and it looks more like the image itself. So I'm going to show you again. I'm going to go ahead and collect color by touching on my image, keeping my finger pressed down, and it has a little bubble pop up. Now you can see the top color is the new color and the bottom color was the old color. So I'm just going to speed this up because we did this around most of the edges and it took quite a while. I'm also going to make sure that everything's nice and smooth by erasing. I'm going to do the same steps that I did for my clothing with my hand. So it got a little bit tricky because it is such a low quality image, but it's okay. It's okay. Do your best and you're going to make it work. Trust me. Smudging goes a long way. Step number 16, let's fix the hair. Now hair is a very difficult thing for me to fix. It's tedious for me is the words I want to use. Extremely tedious. I'm not the best at editing hair, but for those of you who've had practice before or know what you're doing, please fill me in on how to edit hair. I only know how to do a few things, which is using the smudging tool to make sure that the edges are smooth and to add some glow. So let's add glow. What I do is just color in with a thinner brush some white, and I just go ahead into the adjustments and use Gaussian blur. Now all of this is done on a separate layer so that you can get some sheen and shine on your hair. Look at the difference. So now I'm just going to color in the parts that are a little bit translucent. You can do this by doing a layer that's underneath the main photo so that it actually shows up nicer on top. And then we're just going to blur everything, you know, make it look as good as possible. I'm just using whatever type of brush and black. I honestly think Gaussian blur is my favorite adjustment in Procreate. I use it for literally everything. Anyways, so that's pretty much it for this video, you guys. I hope this helped you out on how to edit photos a little bit more in depth. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you for all of your support, all of you guys who've been writing comments to me, messaging me on Instagram. I'm super excited to grow this family, and I'm so close to reaching 5,000 subscribers, all thanks to you. Thank you so much. As I said, I hope this video helps you out. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, And make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I make new videos. I see you in the next one. Bye!